Hello, my name is Robert Field. I am a computer games design student and hopefully very soon a graduate of the University of South Wales. I'm going to be talking about the game Destructdroid, which was my second year professional practice module project. It was a module in which myself and two others from the games design course worked in partnership with three other teams in games art, games enterprise, and games programming throughout the University of South Wales. So Destructdroid was a single player game in which players have to destroy a city as a giant robot. They have to avoid death from tanks and helicopters roaming the cities, and also bosses which took on the form of enemy robots. So the story behind the game is the player plays as Professor Servo. Having recently lost his robotics contract with the UN to old rivals, he now seeks to show the world his creations are superior, one ruined city and dead rival at a time. Once the player has started the game, they will be tasked with building their own robot. Each level a new each level a new tactic is required, and with this perhaps a new version of the machine is needed for the player to customize. So that's a brief overview of the game, story, and what have you. So my role in the games design team, along with two others, was to create the game design document, which basically laid out what the entire game was. Menus, mechanics, win-loss conditions, various different things within the game. And later on in the project, we also play tested prototype builds, which came along every few weeks, which was really great, really awesome to see the progress in the project. And we'd have to give feedback as quickly as possible, and as detailed as possible on what we thought of the progress and what the prototype was, how it was coming along. So the game design, players had to customize robots to suit them. Different levels would have different buildings, obstacles, and enemies to overcome. Perhaps in one level, players would be coming across a lot of infantry units as enemies, and instead of a big rocket launcher, perhaps melee or a machine gun or something like that would be more suited for taking on these types of enemy. So different weapons, armor, and customization is needed by the player. This feature wasn't actually built in, but I'm happy with where we got the artifact to the playable state was really good. Some other things that we plan to have was leaderboards, so it would allow players to get a bit competitive and compete with friends on who can take down the city the fastest or have the highest score and what have you. The objective to the game is to, number one, not die. There are enemies in the game which can take down the robot's health and destroy you, and also to fill up the Destructometer, which was basically the meter that filled as you destroyed the city. So more destruction means filled up destruction meter, which means you win. So what do I think of the final game that we got? It's not completely finished, but considering that the game was made by 4 different teams in different locations, for the first time having to work in those situations, I feel that the project was a great experience. It was similar to that of an international team working on one project. While we had issues with communications and content management and other issues, we still overcame them and built a pretty good artifact in the end, at the end of the day, you know, pretty good game. And overall, the game was fun, and I think that's one of the most important things. The feedback that we got from everyone who played it and you know, who play tested for us was that they really enjoyed it, and that was really great to feel. I felt really glad with this that we accomplished that. It's a shame that we didn't have more in it, but at the end of the day, we just ran out of time. And it was a really fun project to actually work on. Stressful, but fun. It was good fun.